What's up, family? Welcome back. I hope last week's video was encouraging to you. I hope this week is the same. Today, we're going to center our minds around this word, remember. Super important that we be people who remember, and specifically remember what God has done for us. And secondly, that what God has already done for us, he can do it again. There's a passage in the book of 1 Samuel. It's where David, slays the giant for the children of Israel, becomes the hero of Israel. But there's a passage in there that always kind of reminds me of the importance to remember. And in this portion, just to set it up, David has already declared, hey, I'm going out and I'm fighting this guy. I'm fighting this guy who is just making a mockery of all of us. Saul goes, whoa, wait, David. Now, it's great that you're enthusiastic about doing this, but you've been tending the sheep, and this guy has been a warrior since his youth. And so Saul throws all this doubt towards David's way. But David does something that I believe we need to replicate. And so we'll start reading at verse 34, and it says this: "But David said to Saul, your servant has been keeping his father's sheep," of course, you all know that. "But when a lion or a bear came and carried off the sheep from the flock, I went after it, and I struck it, and I rescued the sheep from its mouth. And when it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, and I struck it and I killed it. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he has defied the armies of the living God." What is David doing right here? David is reminding himself of what God has already done in his life. It's so easy when you're in certain situations to see every problem, every issue, every pain, every heartache, every hardship of that situation. It's hard to see the way out. It's hard to see a better perspective in that. But that's why David is standing here remembering. He's remembering what God has done for him. When the children of Israel when God would do anything for them in any area, they would build an altar of remembrance that would help them remember what God had done for them in that area so they wouldn't forget. How often do you do that? How often do you write down those things that God has done in your life so that when you get in situations that seem just impossible, you can remember? I want to challenge you to begin to write down those things. Become a student of remembering what God has done for you. And then the second part of that, the last verse of this passage is super important as well. Verse 37, it reads, "The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." So it's good for you to remember what he has done for you. It's good for you to remember what he has done in this book, how he shut the lion's mouth when Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, how he rescued Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when they were thrown into the fiery furnace, how he split the Red Sea and allowed Moses to walk through. Remembering him sending Jesus to die for our sins. So this is a big part of our faith. It's a big part of the charge that we get when we are in seasons where it's easy to doubt. It's easy to see the hard stuff. So I want to encourage you this week. Remember what God has done for you, and remember what he has done before. He can do it again. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.